And Brother Wakar said that just say something about purpose of life. So, see, all the creatures in this world is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of them has some purpose, right? But there is a drastic difference between a purpose of a human being and purpose of rest of the creatures. Because rest of the creatures, they have no conscious awareness of their purpose. A whale and a mosquito, an ant or a shark, a horse or a crow, all of them have got some divine purpose. So, all of them have got purpose, but they don't have a conscious awareness of it. So this is why automatically in their ecological relations, they are just performing their purpose. And they are performing it beautifully. Humans are different, because the difference between humans and other creatures are, rest of the creatures, when they are born with all the possibilities and all the instincts. The example is that when, for example, a goat gives birth, the child of the goat starts running like his mother in few hours and starts speaking in like her father in few hours. Whereas a human, which is Ashraful Makhlukat, a human child needs at least 1.5 years to just stand. And it again takes more than 1 year to just say Baba, Tata, Papa, and that not very comprehensible words. So how come it is so? Rest of the animals, when they are born, they are ready, but humans are not. That's a unique difference, because other animals, they are born in between two lines. The lower line is defined and the upper line is also defined. Whereas the humans have got a lower line, but their upper line is not defined. Rest of them are like full fruits, but humans are like seeds. They have got potential of a fruit tree, but now it will depend upon how we nurture it, how we groom it, how we fertilize it, what type of environment we provide, and what type of conscious awareness and self-reflection we use to actually decide about our life. So this is why it is very important. The other animals they don't have this problem. They don't have to think about their purpose of life. It has already been decided and they are doing it perfectly. But humans have been given potentials, an ability to self-reflect, an ability to have a conscious awareness, an ability to have choices. Because of that, it is our responsibility to ponder about our purpose. And it is very important that we have to find out our own purpose. So, but it is very, on a serious note, it's very, very important that all of us must know our purpose of life. And how do we actually decide about a purpose life? There is an algorithm. People have their lives at different stages and different levels. And we decide our purpose of life depending upon what stage we have or what level we have. Our elders have told that the lowest level is a level where we live on the basis of lust and pleasure. Lust and pleasure is the governing force in our life. Anything which has got a pleasure, we just go there. May it be money, may it be authority, may it be power, may it be other physical needs, maybe sexual or food related or whatever. This is the lowest level of a human being. Whatever is lusty, one goes for it. Because when someone is following a lust, he will not follow any ethics, any morality, any principle, any law, whether it is destructive for other one, whether it is causing a problem, but he will only follow the lust. And we think that living at a lust level is living at an animal level. But no sir, this is actually a sub-animal level. Because animals, they don't live at the level of lust. They live at a higher level, which is level of need. And you must have this experience that if you have a pet in your home, no matter how delicious food you offer, once his tummy is full, you cannot give that person, that animal, a drop of some good, fluid or any food. You can't give him even little bit of it if it is full. But humans are not like that. So they are not living at the lust level, they are living at the needs level. Right? So if we are living at the lust level, we are actually in a sub-animal level. But the second level is living at the level of needs. Whatever I need, I get it. This is animal level. This is the level which is animal level. And animals actually, when they fulfill their need, they actually don't disturb the ecology. But humans, they have got a very wrong, bad history of disturbing the ecology. So even if we are living at the level of the need, again we are sub-animal level, because we cannot compete our colleague animals on this planet because they are perfect in that. And the other level of it is level of desire. Right? Level of desire. Whatever I desire, I have to have it. Now, level of desire is again a little higher on the scale of an animal level. The level of desire, there is a human level. If we live at desire of level in a very ideal way, college, I became a doctor, then I got married, I have children, I just fed them well, I took them to the universities, they become, self-sufficient, and then one had, heart disease, and then he died. So apparently it's a good, comfortable life. You did everything. But this at the maximum will keep us in the animal level. Because animals, they do it much perfectly than what we do is. Then what is the human level? Human level is little above. And human level is a level where a person has a life which is life of nobility. And definition of nobility is that whatever we work, whatever abilities we have, and whatever yield we get after using those ability, the beneficiaries of those yield are other than ourselves, our spouse, and our immediate related peoples. If the beneficiaries are other than this group, then we are having a noble life. And this life is the human life. If a human is just looking after himself, and those who are actually directed the most put us at the level of the animal. But we, alhamdulillah, have got potential of not only having life at the human level, but at suprahuman level, and then on the cosmic level, and then on the godly level. No one can be God, but one can live at godly level. And people have lived their life on this planet at these all spectrum of levels. And before now, what to do? All these things, they look very flowery, and our emotions are just stimulated. So I will just tell you a few take-home messages, and then I'll just beg leave. The take-home messages is, number one, I will just stop talking for 15 to 20 seconds. I'll request all of you, please, close your eyes and peep in your heart and think of your purpose of life. I'm nobody to tell you what should be your purpose of life. You have your own paradigm, you have your own thinking pattern, you have your own responsibilities, you know your capacity, you know your potential, you know your means. So just peep in your heart and just decide why you are here. See, you have got a servant, जैसे पाकिस्तान में होता है मजदूर मजदूरी करने के लिए आते हैं, तो you decide he will give you 700 rupees for that. Next day you ask him, please come back, come tomorrow as well, because he was useful. There were thousands of people died last night, and 1,000 more or maybe lakhs of people will die this night and the night to come. We were not among those who died last night. तो अल्लाह ताला ने हमें क्यों फिर एक दिन और दिया है? आखिर क्या काम लेना है, क्या मजदूरी? तो we must know that why we have been recruited again for one more day. We must have a purpose of life, right? So I will just request you to do this exercise honestly, and I promise that I'll not ask from you that whatever you thought. And then I'll tell you 3 yardsticks, and you match the purpose of life which you thought with that yardstick. And that yardstick is very authentic. It is not from me. It is, has been told by our elders, who actually based it on the divine knowledge. So time starts now. Please close your eyes and think of your purpose of life. Just for 15 seconds.
You are not a mind reader, are you? You are not going to read our minds.
No, I'm nobody. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters. I'm sure you have got one line, but I want to just remind you that line should not be a subjective statement. It has to be an objective statement. The difference between subjective and objective is that for a subjective statement, only the person who states that statement knows the meaning. For example, मैं नेक बनना चाहता हूँ. Only I know what do I understand by that. For you, maybe नेक means who spends lot of money. For him, नेक्स mean who actually recites tahajjud and all 5 other prayers. So मैं नेक बनता हूँ. This is a subjective statement. I can give you a simple exam. I want to lose my weight. This is a subjective statement. It really does not mean, what I mean. You will not understand it unless and until I don't convert it into an objective statement. Objective statement is, I will run 3 miles daily. I will not take fizzy drinks. I'll go to gym 3 times a day for 2 hours. So this is objective statement. Everyone understands the same meaning of it. इसलिए again I give you a 15-second more. If your statement is subjective, मैं इंसानियत की खिदमत करना चाहता हूँ, this actually does not mean anything, because no one out of us has ever seen Mrs. Insaniyat. So there is no one which is Insaniyat which will knock our door and we will say, okay, हम आपकी खिदमत करते हैं. So this is a subjective statement. What we mean by इंसानियत only you know. I hope I made my point clear. If your statement is a subjective statement, मैं एक अच्छा इंसान बनना चाहता हूँ, मैं मुल्क को कौम की खिदमत करना चाहता हूँ, मैं अल्लाह का सिपाही बनना चाहता हूँ. No, this is not a purpose statement. It has to be an objective statement which is measurable, reproducible, and someone can watch it doing. And you can teach it to someone, right? So again, just please, sorry, I'm bothering you again. 15 seconds more, please. Thank you very much. I know 15 seconds takes so many minutes. So, okay, now my job is now to let our brothers and sisters know 3 yardsticks. And whatever statement you have in your head and your heart, please match it with that yardstick. The first is, the purpose which you thought must not be your need. If your purpose is your need, this is not your purpose. I want to build 4 houses for my children in 4 different cities of Great Britain. There's nothing wrong about it. You may think of 20 houses. It's your need. And there is no harm in fulfilling the need in a halal way. But this is not a purpose. Purpose must not be your need. If the purpose you said was actually something which was your need, then I'm sorry, you have to revise it again. Because anything which is your need is not your purpose. But that does not mean that I am denying the importance of need. I'm not actually saying that earning money is bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said khair to money. But money has its own place and purpose has its own place. For example, someone is very fond of good shoes and he has got Pakistani 3 lakh rupees and there's an Italian snake skin shoe which is for 3 lakh rupees. By all means, please do buy that 3 lakh shoes. But this shoe cannot replace your cap because it is of 3 lakh rupees. वो 10 रुपए की टोपी को ये 3 लाख का जूता रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता. So your need has got a place. I'm not denying it. It is important. But this need cannot replace your purpose. So please, I'm not going to check it. I'm not a monitor here. Whatever statement you thought of, first of all, it should not be a subjective statement. It should be an objective statement. Number 2, it should not be your need. Number two yardstick. Do you want some time to revise it, or alhamdulillah, I'm sure already this is not in your need. Number 2, whatever purpose you thought of, it should not be time bound. If there is something which is time bound, that means, for example, you think your purpose is that after 7 years I want to achieve this PhD degree, and you achieve it. So the next day you should die because purpose has been achieved, right? When something, if this chair is for sitting, if it is no good for sitting, this will be thrown away, right? So if our purpose is time bound, that means we have decided when we have to die. And if you want to see its example is seen now in modern world, more in West, but East is not actually behind, because here the resources are much. So whatever worldly you decide as your purpose, you achieve it very quickly. And then there is a spiritual vacuum. This is why, invest in, and Pakistan is no exception now. More than 40% of people are on antipsychotic drugs after the age of 40. Prozac has been included in Oxford dictionary as he is a Prozac person, which means he is a psychiatric person. He is taking SSRI, right? So why it is so? Why someone just wants to make 15 holes on his tongue and 5 on the ear and just paint a beautiful body into different colors? Because he does not understand that how should I fulfill I'm not against, by the way, all those things. It's their human personal rights. But there is a spiritual vacuum. This is why abnormal, obnoxious sexual relationship. This is why suicide. This is why flip syndrome. Changing from one person to another person, one job to another job. Right? So why it is happening? Why there are mental health problems are increasing in the world? Because we are here for a purpose, and when we fix a purpose which is achievable in short period of time, then we have a spiritual vacuum, and then vacuum can only be fulfilled if we revise our purpose or we die, right? So this is why the second yardstick. So please check you put the tick yourself. The first one was, it should be an objective statement. The second was, it should not be your need. And the third one was, it should not be time bound. If you want me to give an example, the biggest example is of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His purpose of life was to save the people till the day of Qiyamah from fire of Jahannam and guide them to the Jannat. Not for only Arabs. Not for that century. From centuries to come, it was not time bound. And look at the momentum of his purpose of life. We all are actually here because of the momentum of the purpose of life. The other examples can be Abdul Sattar Idhi. He is no more here in the world, but his work is going on. And there are many other examples in the Western world, many scientists, many philosophers. There are many people. Their work, their purpose was not time bound. They left, but their purpose is continuing. I made lot of serious talks, and on a lighter note, मैं अपना एक शेर आपको सुनाता हूं. तुझे पाना मेरे जीने का मकसद, तुझे जब पा लिया तो क्या करूंगा? Right? So that's what happens. This is why all this craziness is going on in this world. So this was yardstick number 2. And the last one is, which I've already mentioned, whatever your purpose is, when you achieve this purpose or partially achieve this purpose, whatever you get, the beneficiaries of that must be people you don't know. And as the circle of the beneficiaries increase, the effectivity of your purpose increases. Maybe someone is beneficiary of your work sitting in New Zealand. Or maybe someone is beneficiary of your work only in your locality. But that doesn't matter, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, intention is important, quality is important, quantity is not important. Right? So, my dear brothers and sisters, this was a humble submission that we are going to die. May Allah give you a long life. And when we will die, we have to face to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was very difficult to understand few years back कि ये कैसे होगा, मैंने कमरे के अंधेरे में I did something, कैसे क्या पता लगता है कि नहीं. But now this mobile has, and this all computing ability of the computers have shown us कि कोई बंदा कहीं भी नहीं छुप सकता. अभी गूगल को पता है कि हम में से कौन कौन यहाँ बैठा हुआ है. गूगल को ये भी पता है कि हमने लंच में क्या खाया था, क्योंकि हमने एक सेल्फी खींच के भेजी हुई है उधर. तो हम सबको अल्लाह के सामने पेश होना है और अपने किए का जवाब देना है. और उसके लिए ये एक्सक्यूज कि मुझे पता नहीं था, सो इग्नोरेंस ऑफ द लॉ इज नॉट एन एक्सक्यूज फॉर कमिटिंग अ क्राइम. जब तक हमारा आखिरी सांस है, अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला हैज गिवन अस एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू select the options, and that options will decide our taqdeer. हम कहते हैं ना अल्लाह ताला ने सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है. For see, there is a person who always sits amongst the people who are very learned, who are very educated, who are very pious. He looks after his health. He spends good time with his family. And there's another person who is involved in addiction. His company is bad people. After 20 years, you need not to have an Einstein mind to guess that where they will be. And that is their taqdeer. So we have got now, as we are breathing, we have got the options of choosing right thing. Right? And we must have a documented, like a doctor has his logbook and a businessman his leisure. Why we don't have a documented purpose of life and then start working on it scientifically? We are all scientific people, so we should scientifically work on it, and so that when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we have a smile on our face. Jazakallahu khair.